Alright, I'm just seeing if we are live. It seems like we're live. So, today we're going to talk about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2. And in Episode 2, we're going to look like we're going to have a trial of Jaime. So, Jaime Lannister is going to go on trial in Episode 2. And it's I think people are kind of not really serious about this. We kind of get in this Game of Thrones mindset that we've been following around Jaime for all this time, and we really like him. He haven't get to know him personally. He seems like a nice guy, but he's he's really not. From for somebody from the outside, I don't think you could imagine somebody that killed your father, right? That murdered your father, right? He didn't have any legal authority to do it. He betrayed his oath. He killed Danny's father. We also know the heinous thing he did to Bran, and we don't know what Bran's gonna do. But it's not really something that a real person could let go of, right? And it wasn't just that Danny's dad was killed, right? He's kind of an old guy. Maybe he wasn't all. Maybe he's a little bit of senile or something like that. Maybe he was crazy. Maybe he was gonna blow up King's Landing. But the result of that was that uh, Danny and her brother were they were in exile for many many years. So it wasn't like there was no consequences to this or anything. That they, this really ruined her life, right? Her mother also died right after her father was murdered by Jaime. It wasn't just that her dad was killed, but it was her life was ruined and she was orphaned, and that she was hunted. I think this is kind of going to be. I think that they're going to let Jaime walk. That they're going to do the trial. It's pretty obvious from the trailer that Jaime is going to walk, because we see him fighting in the battle for Winterfell, which we know. I think I mistakenly said in a previous live stream that it was going to be. The Battle of Winterfell was in episode 2, but the Miguel Sapochnik battle scene, the longer episode 2, is going to be episode 3. So episode 2 is going to be just under an hour, but episode 3 is going to be the the one with the battle for Winterfell, and that's the one we think that Jaime has to get to, because I think it was either the teaser or the trailer that he was in it. It seemed like he was fighting in that battle, and it doesn't seem like he's there's going to be any scenes like that in this. So, for some reason, he's not going to be executed in episode 2. It seems with all certainty. Uh, yeah, and I know a lot of people like Jaime. Brienne likes him. Of course, his brother likes him. We don't know what Sansa will do. Uh, Bran probably doesn't care at this point, because he's kind of just not human anymore. But it's really, you have to suspend a lot of disbelief to think that that Danny's just going to let this go by, right? That uh, she's going to have Sir Jaime Lannister under her control, and she's not going to punish him, right? He's going to just completely walk. And really, he's walked for the last 20 odd years for all of her life. So he's had his freedom because of the usurper taking over. But he has done some crimes. The other thing, crimes that he won't be tried for, but maybe you could justify that the Mad King was mad. He was saving the realm. He was saving King's Landing, right? Okay, maybe. But he did. He When he pushed Bran, that was a very selfish, evil thing he did. And you probably forgotten when he killed one of his kinsmen. So he's not just a kingslayer; he's a kinslayer. He killed a very innocent member, one of his kinsmen, like his cousin or something, or his nephew, when they were. I think it was like season 2, season 3, when he was a captive of uh, the young wolf, Robb Stark, right? So he killed him, and then that was when he killed one of the Karstarks, and then the Karstarks wanted his head, but um, Robb wouldn't let him go, but the he was let go by kinsman who was totally innocent, totally nice guy that he killed, and he's at least going to get some allowance so he can fight in the battle. Maybe they're arguing that he's an essential part. I don't buy it though. Number one, there's no way that these people would trust Jamie, right? Just no way that they would trust him. That he led battles against them, right? He's been doing that. He tried to kill Drogon just recently in the loot train battle, and he just barely got out of that. So it's not. So we're gonna have the trial of Jamie. We think he's gonna walk on that trial. So he's gonna get some. Maybe given that it's a done event, I would think that the you know the Iron Throne would. Let's bring up a new image. So we'll bring the image of the odds. Okay. Okay, let's put that in place of Jamie. So these are the odds from OddsShark. Okay, so I converted the odds. They had the plus money odds. There's a conversion for making the odds. You'll find online a bring, but this is not like the markets where we don't know what the next earnings will be. This is there's some people that know. Some people have crystal balls. Their names are Dan and Dave. Um, the people that make it to the end of the season. There's a lot of people that know, and while they might be able to keep them from posting it on social media and letting it out in interviews, then those people could conceivably be betting in these betting markets and raking up money. So the fact that there's not an odds on favorite right now in these betting markets, given so many people know the outcome, the only thing that I can think, besides everybody's good and honest, which that seems unlikely to me, it is that the nobody sits the Iron Throne. I think that's the answer, right? So I think this betting on like for the throne and all this, I think that it's such a spread field. Either the insiders are not raking it in because they know, or they there is nobody, right? So if we look at the rules of the odds, which I have not read, that it's all everybody's going to get their money back because there's no winner, there's no Iron Throne. That would be my guess. And right, so going back to the predictions. One of the things that was interesting though was there was a little bit of movement between Bran Stark and Jon Snow. So Jon Snow's probability went up, and Bran's went down. So before Bran was the favorite, now John's a favorite, but it still looks like the Democratic primary in the U.S. It's really anybody's ball game. It's really hard for people to get double digits. So here it's a little more consolidated than the Democratic primary right now, but not much. So the so what else are we gonna see? I think in season 2, episode 2, we're going to see. Uh, uh, we're going to see the Night King get to Winterfell. Maybe there will be a skirmish. Maybe there will be like some undead in the crypts of Winterfell or something like that. But I don't think we're going to get the full battle. I do think we're going to get a lot of the trial of Jaime, just from what I've seen. The other thing I think is really interesting is that it seems to me that the trailers don't go beyond uh, episode 3, right? So they're very careful, I think, with the trailers. There is that tease of all those items that are associated with many people that are in the snow, but I just don't. I'm not convinced that that any of that's true. I do think there's going to be a retreat from Winterfell because they need to get to King's Landing at some point. So they might as well retreat from Winterfell, and they don't have enough food to stay in Winterfell, so they have to retreat. So they have to engage the Night King. I think some of so episode 3 we're gonna get all the strategy. Maybe we'll get some idea of their strategy in episode 2. So far we've not had that. That would be another chance for potentially Tyrion to shine, to show some good battle planning. In terms of the Night King and the Whites, it seems like you need to kill the big guys and not worry about the little guys. So the White Walkers control the Whites, right? The undead. So those guys with the long hair and the kind of armor control the undead. And so if you kill one of the White Walkers, then you kill all of those. So conceivably, you want to have like archers going after those guys and just ignore the whites as much as possible. The other thing is you could like burn them, but then you have to take out the ice dragon Viserion. I think some folks have said maybe they're gonna save the dragons back because of the Night King is so good at the spear, but we also think that Viserion's going to be deployed. So I think they have to go after Viserion and meet him in the air, and I think Viserion's going to go down this time. Will that kill the Night King? Can the Night King fall 1,000 feet and still get up? Probably, because the Whites can do it. We saw the Whites do that in Hardhome. So falling out of the sky might not be bad, and the Night King may not be harmed by fire the way the Whites are. So I think the dominant theory is that you have to pull out the dragon glass from the Night King's heart to kill him, but we don't know. Nobody's actually tried to kill the Night King. We just had the stare downs between Jon and the Night King, but we don't know. So you want to target the White Walkers. Maybe you're gonna do some burning, but you have to worry about Viserion, the Ice Dragon. You got to take him out because if he gets to Winterfell, it's pretty much game over very quickly, right? So he took out the wall very easily, and in the Dance with Dragons, which is in the prehistory of this show, before the Roberts Rebellion, when the Targaryens were in control. Uh, they burned down the strongest fortress, Harrenhal, which you did see in this series, which is just a ruins, and the real dragons can melt stone with their fire. So it's all indication that the ice dragon can do a lot of damage. I think the other interesting thing about, right, we know that the White Walkers are tied to the Children of the Forest, who are tied to the Werewoods. There's a werewood in the middle of Winterfell. So I know the Starks worship the werewoods, but it might come to it. They might need to do what the other men did in the olden days, is they need to chop down those werewoods, right? So it may be a source of power for Bran, but it's also a source of power for the White Walkers and the Night King. And so maybe we'll see the werewood in Winterfell felled. We do have that trailer with Arya running around the crypts of Winterfell and really scared, and we'll see how that goes. But I don't see the bloodbaths coming that I expect. You would expect from seasons 1 through 4 of Game of Thrones. I still think this is a fan service show, and it's not the show of Ned's Dead, and not the show of the Red Wedding or the Purple Wedding, or even the explosion of the Great Sept of Baelor. So, but maybe I do think that they're going to have to retreat from Winterfell, and how they do that'd be a good question. How are they able to fight off the Night King and retreat? Winterfell's not close to the sea. I don't know how they're going to make that march very easily. There might be some jetpacking this season. We'll see. It seems like for the first 3 episodes, they're in Winterfell, so they have to do some jumping. Episode 5 is the other battle episode with Miguel Sapochnik, and so my thinking is that's going to be the battle for King's Landing. All right, so I haven't seen a lot of you in the chat. I'm sorry about getting it all mixed up in terms of the, when I was having trouble getting the streams. I guess I'm not going to preset these things. I think I'll probably do another live stream on Sunday, depending if I'm around. If I'm around early enough, then maybe I'll do another live stream, because I want to practice the live streams here on the Linus Wilson channel. We got a lot of Game of Thrones content on this channel. We also have a couple Game of Thrones videos on the Slowboat Sailing channel. And so, subscribe to Linus Wilson, subscribe to Slowboat Sailing. Leave some comments. Let me know what kind of videos you would like. Who you think's going to win the Iron Throne. Is Jamie your favorite guy? Whatever you want to say. Let me hear all your